So after Balance Point, everything is just pure hell. And originally, we were supposed to follow up with the Nightfall trilogy. However, those were canceled. And instead, we got the Edge of Victory duology, which really says, yeah, Anakin Solo at this point, at the time of its publication, was still the hero of the story. Now, like, okay, 6 weeks take place after Balance Point and the ultimatum that the Yuuzhan have made, and already New Republic worlds are turning on the Jedi and handing them over to the Yuuzhan or killing them. And the Peace Brigade is getting involved in this, and well, it's caused a split within the Jedi Order. Like Kip Duran pushed for an aggressive response, while Luke Skywalker favors a more measured course of action, concentrating on defending the most vulnerable of Jedi. So let's see. The New Republic's turning on the Jedi, the galaxy's turning against the Jedi, and the Jedi are split amongst themselves. Yeah, it looks like the Yuuzhan are kicking their ass again. And this time through psychological warfare instead of brute strength. So, okay, we got that. Anakin Solo, oh boy, voyages to the Jedi Academy on Yavin 4 to ensure the safety of the young Jedi stationed there. Peace Brigade mercenaries attack the temple, killing Anakin's old mentor. I can't pronounce it, but he was in the Young Jedi Knights series. Um, he looked like a pet initially, and then turned out he was a master of the Force, trained by Yoda. I keep thinking it's Eric, Kirit. I don't know. And they also captured Anakin Solo's dear friend Tahia Villa. The Yuuzhan destroyed the ancient edifice, building a new camps out of the rubble. Anakin survives in the jungle, trekking towards the Yuuzhan on Damtrick Tuck buildings to rescue, well, his eventual love interest. Meanwhile, smuggling Baron Talon Karen Coward arrives on Yavin 4 aboard the Wild Kared to wage war of wits and firepower against the Peace Brigade. Um, he frees Master Cam and Tonas Saloser and their Jedi students from captivity and sends them to Coruscant. Bad idea. While he continues his search for the missing Anakin. When word of his nephew's predicament reaches Luke on Coruscant, the Jedi Master finds little help in the New Republic government. Instead, he assigns Jaina and Jason to contact Booster Tariq aboard a Star Destroyer errant venture. Battling Yuuzhan scouts, Anakin damages his lightsaber. He is saved by Vua Rapung, a mysterious Yuuzhan of the lowest caste. The Shane one's bodies have rejected the ritual organic grafting of implants and modifications, and they are deemed worthless in the Yuuzhan society. So this really goes into depth about Yuuzhan culture and how everything is built around them. Like, they're organic-based technology. They hate technology. They hate mechanical technology. They hate a lot of things, but they also have their own systems of discrimination. So that's at least not surprising. And they're very religious, which will be explained later on, including something else that made me say, yeah, these are the Reapers. They're like organic based Reapers. So, as I was saying, Wu was a great warrior whose fall from grace was orchestrated by his former lover, Mazan Karad. Mazan is Talia's capture, and once Wu and Anakin realize they have a common foe, they band together to fix his lightsaber. Anakin uses a Lambent crystal grown by the Yuuzhan. Attunement of the crystal within his Jedi weapon allows Anakin to rudimentally sense the aliens in the Force. It's called Vong sense. He's able to get a blurry mental image of the Yuuzhan. He's able to sense them a bit. And this really says, yeah, he's the hero of the story. And I mean, not just the Edge of Victory duology. I'm talking about he was initially the overall hero of the story, but like I said, we'll get into that when we get into that in Star by Star, which I can't wait to talk about. So, anyways, Kawad and her apprentice Nin Yim are from the Shaper caste, devoted to biological alterations, and they reshape Talia's memories through intensive brainwashing, causing her to believe she is Rena Kawad. a Yuuzhan Vong Jedi, and Mizan wants to create a hybrid warrior to able to touch the Force, unlike the rest of the Yuuzhan Vong, because remember, the Yuuzhan Vong lost their connection to the Force during their own strife before they left their galaxy in exchange to find a new one. Um, this is why I said this is where the whole these are organic Reapers, because Mass Effect had indoctrination with the Reapers. These among have Shapers, which basically is the protocol to basically brainwash people into believing they're using Vong hybrids and serve them. So that was like a shocker to me. Like, this was released way before Mass Effect ever happened, so I had that mentality like, yeah, these are the. So when Mass Effect, so I never read this book at that point. It's because I never heard of it. I became a Star Wars Expanded Universe fan way late into it, and I had already played Mass Effect, so every time I look at these among, I'm just thinking, yeah, they're organic Reapers. They're the Reapers before the Reapers. So, anyways, as this brainwashing continues, she pushes past the boundaries of sacred protocol, courting heresy in favor of scientific progress, and now we're getting into religious versus science morality, and the Yuuzhan hate that. Like, they believe in science, but like organic based at least, but they have limits to them in their ideology. But Sheet Nim Nim and Maz Kawad have pushed it a little too far on this. So Anakin and Val arrive at the alien base just as Yuuzhan Vong warriors attempt to apprehend the Shapers for heresy. So it's a three-way battle. You have the heretics, you have the Yuuzhan Vong, and you have Anakin and the Shamed One. So yeah, it's a three-way battle now. The pursuit of Talia accumulates in a confrontation that neither Vu or Mazan survive, but Vu acquits himself well in combat and publicly exposes Mazan's betrayal of him. In this way, he earns back some level of redemption with his death. Anakin escapes with Talia with cover from Wild Karat and Adventure, and Jason and Jaina Soul as X-Wing fighters. Now, here's the one problem I had with. Okay, you see, Talia has been reshaped right now. She's currently thinking she's a Yuuzhan Vong Jedi. She decapitates one of the Yuuzhan Vong Shapers heretics, and Anakin so manages to get her back her old self, or at least part of her old self, through the power of love. Oh, fuck you. I think this is part where the writers were caught in a corner, in my honest opinion, and they were like scrambling. What do we do? What do we do? Power of love. Yeah, let's do that. Because in the second book, we'll get to that in the second part of the duology. We'll get to that in a moment. On Coruscant, Jedi Master Kenneth Hammer warns Luke that Boris, whatever, I'm not pronouncing that last name, has issued a warrant for his arrest. Mara's illness has returned and she grows weaker by the moment. These concerns distract Luke from his ambitious Great River project. Han and Leia help secure routes for the Jedi to shelter a rebuilt refuge within the old abandoned Maw installation. Luke and Mara free the capital aboard the Air Adventure. Booster, modified Star Destroyer, becomes the temporary traveling refugee of the Jedi children. Anakin watches over Talia's recovery. The ship must be covertly resupplied, so Anakin and Corran pilot the freighter Luance to Enduran, accompanied by a restless Talia. They cross paths with Nu, a Jedi attacked by the Priest Brigade. The dying Nu passes on word of an impending assault that will target the planet Young Dual. With Maz Kawa dead, Nimya is reassigned to the dying world ship Ban Muran. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. Frontiers of the Yuuzhan, following Mazan's footsteps, she explores the frontiers of Yuuzhan Vong knowledge. According to the doctrine, the Yuuzhan Vong were gifted with their shaping abilities by the gods, as commentated for their moral intermediary. The Supreme Overlord, the current Overlord, Shima, parceled out of the latest knowledge to the Shapers during the exodus from their native galaxy. So, yeah, like I said, this goes into details about their shaping abilities, of how they basically indoctrinate people. And, well, Nimian discovers the shocking truth that this knowledge store is bare. She decides to begin developing her own protocols, goaded into action by a particular master shaper named Kakarad. Making matters all the more intriguing, Kakarad reveals himself to be Omen, the twisted jester and Shame One, and serves as Shimura. And he would later be revealed as the true leader of the Yuuzhan and Unifying Force, where he's actually the higher power behind the throne. So you also get to see that the Yuuzhan are just like the native humans of our world. Like, despite their aggressive stance against the galaxy, they also have their own problems to deal with, like traitors, deception, secret higher powers, and having this debate between religion and scientific progress. So it's really fascinating for this. It really makes the Yuuzhan very three-dimensional. Um, Hoping to bring much needed decisiveness to the Jedi, Jaina seeks out Kip Duran's help. Kip surprises her by requesting her help and that of Rogue Squadron to take out a superweapon being developed by the Yuuzhan on the destroyed Serpidol. Kip also asks Jaina to be his apprentice. Yeah, that doesn't end well, I'll just say it. Investigating the young Duenli, the literature emerges in the midst of a Yuuzhan fleet. Anakin, Talia, and Corrin recognize that the Yuuzhan truce has evidently been broken. Namanar, posing as a native Given, has infiltrated the Yungdol command structure. Anar leads the Jedi into a trap aboard the space station over Yongdon. Elsewhere in the galaxy, the Millennium Falcon begins a pre-career as a privateer vessel, raiding Peace Brigade convoys. Han renamed the ship Princes of Blood, and is aided by Leia and Jacen. War Master Tusan Vong La is still holding a smoldering grudge against Jacen from what happened earlier in the storyline. Learns of this deception from Virgin, the former familiar to the late Princess Eileen, who has returned to the Yuuzhan fold. Armed with this knowledge, La springs a trap for the Falcon with a particularly tempting Peace Brigade convoy. So Law offers Han a ceasefire in exchange for handing over Jacen. Right, because Han Solo will just give in and just willingly give away this kind of thing. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. Han refuses, obviously, and Jacen develops a clever plan to escape, releasing a cargo of liquid hydrogen against the Yuuzhan defenses. The Vong ships use miniature black holes as shields. Okay, that's actually kind of badass. And the accelerate and let's see, the acceleration of hydrogen in these singularities react explosively, allowing the Solos to escape. So, great plan, Jacen. Too bad what happens to you later down the road in Star Wars is not pretty. At Yongdon, Anakin battles against the Yuuzhan Vong. He calls out Nomenar for a duel, warrior to warrior, but Onar declines, and that doesn't really work. With the Given poised to expel the atmosphere of the space station to smite the invaders, Corrin equips Anakin and Talia with an oxygen tank and shoves them into a storage locker for safety. In such cramped quarters and with death at every corner, Anakin and Talia finally share three kisses. Their first kiss, their second kiss, and their third kiss. And they resolve to figure out their relationship after the Yuuzhan had been defeated. Oh, you poor bastards. You. Oh boy, that's not gonna be pretty. Um yeah. You might need to reconsider that part. Meanwhile, a fleeing Nomenar murders a trio of Yuuzhan Vong warriors who judge him to be a disgrace for refusing the challenge posed by the Jedi. Corrin, Anakin, and Talia make their escape aboard a given transport. At Shrapnel, after the New Republic forces destroy the Vong superweapon, Jaina realizes it was not a military target but rather a site of a ship womb, a production facility filled with non-combatants who were developing new Yuuzhan Vong warships and transports. Incensed at Kip's deception, she slaps the Jedi Master in the face, and Jaina swears she will never help Kip again. On board the Air Adventure, Luke is at Mara's side, concerned about her worsening condition and the impending childbirth, tapping into the Force and drawing strength from Luke and her unborn child, especially Luke using the dark side at this point. Mara not only rids her body of all remaining traces of Yuuzhan Vong illness, but gives birth to the healthy baby boy, Ben Skywalker. Luke then receives a message from Borsek, whatever last name, welcoming his return to Coruscant. Nim Yun is brought to the Supreme Overlord Shimon, who declares that Yun is now his personal master shaper and is to continue her work exploring the secrets of shaping beyond current Yuuzhan Vong understanding. So that's where the duology comes to an end. Balance Point, like I said, was originally to be followed up by the Nightfall trilogy of paperback novels by Michael Jan Friedman, Jedi Storm, Jedi Fire, and Jedi Blood. A change in Del Rey's publishing program resulted in these books being canceled early in development, with Edge of Victory duology by Greg Keyes taking their place. The canceled trilogy was to feature Danny Queen and focus on the Priest Brigade's actions against the Jedi. So, this is where you clearly knew, yeah, this was supposed to be the story of Anakin Solo. It was clearly obvious. He basically gets built up and all these other stories prior to New Jedi Order, finally gets a love interest, and he's been also prophesized to be the chosen one for something big in the future. And especially since the original plan prior to the Yuuzhan Vong was to have Anakin Solo be the hero. Like I said in the Vector Prime video. So you clearly can tell, yeah, this kid's still the hero of the story at this point, but we all know how that turns out in the next novel, Star by Star, which I cannot wait to talk about. I've seriously been hyped up for this. So everyone, anyways, those are my thoughts on the Edge of Victory duology. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to tune for more.